Hi, welcome to the next edition of Watching the Pioneer Meta. And of course, it's the first episode since the banning, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. I honestly did not think this actually was needed, in my personal opinion, as someone that plays the format daily and kind of just enjoys it in general. Like, I didn't really think there's anything in the format that was actually bad or toxic or even kind of inherently push bad play patterns. Mono red, I could see why it would be kind of bad into best of one, but best of one I think is not really a great metric to determine anything, just because of the fact that I don't know how to say it, but like best of one, you kind of know that it's going to be a crapshoot going into it. And it's probably not going to be lasting past a few turns, so really hating on best of three. For best of one, I just don't really care for, especially since I don't think the card was that big of a deal. We had a lot of ways to deal with Fatal Push, Torso Tower, any kind of removal spell. We have so much of it in Pioneer that honestly, I feel like best of one they could have adapted and just kind of removed it. But maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it was that big of a deal, but I'm not like upset to see it go, right? Especially since I think the format might turn and become something maybe a little bit better. But overall, let's dive into the meta. So I've been seeing a lot of Fang going around, especially in the tournament results. Mardu Fang, Orzhov Fang, also a couple Abzan Fangs. So there's definitely a resurgence of that deck. I've been seeing it a lot more as well on Arena. So I do see that there's definitely probably a little bit of an issue here. Fang has always been, I think, a deck that's either been, kind of mid or it's always been just overly busted. And Urza Fang has been showing up quite a bit across the board. Rakdos Demon staying around 10%. It's probably going to stay around there even after the bannings. It's just a reasonable deck that has a lot of tools to win most matchups. So it's 50-50s across the board. Phoenix, I don't see this taking any more dips, even though the numbers are deflated because of the red being knocked off. I don't think it's that big of a deal, right? Phoenix, it just has a huge fan base behind it. Azorius Control, it's like the best format to play Control, honestly. Like the format is just balanced. So Control could survive in this format. Kavoke, this number was going down. So I think it being so skyrocketed, it's probably just because of the fact that this number was pretty low. But now, after the biggest deck fell off, it just kind of gains a lot of traction in the amount of meta percentages. Is it actually? I've seen quite a bit of Boris Evoke in the challenges and in stuff like that, but I don't think it's anything that we should worry about. Simic, Shape Shift's there as well. So a lot of these decks, like I said, it's kind of been around for quite some time, but since the BNR, it looks like one deck made a resurgence, and we're going to talk about that first, and then we're going to get into a deck that went 2 and 4 in a challenge, but still is kind of spicy. I might want to try it on stream this week. So if you do want to come by and watch Pioneer content on Twitch, come check me out. I do it every Tuesday, 9 p.m., around 9 to 10 p.m. Central Time. But let's dive right in. So a deck that made a resurgence is Mono Green Devotion. There's a couple copies. It's been showing up quite a bit all over the place. One of them was playing a little bit of black for Go for the Throat for a little bit of target removal. But the main board always kind of stays the same. Like you always see two oddity. Scrying is not always consistent, but Haven's always there. Kiora is always there. Leyland's pretty much always there. Your Cavalier, Storm, Trailblazer. Sideboard though, we have our removal is Emergence. We have our cat, so that way we can get through counter spells. We have Petitioner, nice way to get a bunch of life against red base strategies or burn or whatever. Lay on into the void for graveyard based strategies. And for artifact and enchantment hate, we have Scrap Shooter. It's 2 green pips, and it's a 4/4. So we could easily trim an old gold troll or something like that. Bring those in. Get a problematic artifact enchantment like Annex or whatever. And kind of go from there. But overall, this deck made a resurgence. It makes kind of sense. Because if any deck would be shoving this deck out, is decks that go pretty fast, right? Mono Red is a pretty aggressive deck. So the fact that that took a hit means green can maybe come back. So Heartfire Hero maybe is a little bit of a net positive because I do think Green Devotion should be in the format. I think it's a fair, I shouldn't say a fair deck. Either it's like extremely broken, but lately it's been fair since the certain bannings like Karn and stuff. But let's get into the next list. So since Red got banned, there's this random Teamer Prowess deck that's basically playing green just for pick your poison, Reclamation, and Druid. Also, main reason I want to talk about it is the random Arlong in the board. We have Shredder, we have Druid, tons of draw spells with Consider, Sleight of Hand, Opt, cantrips, I should say. Then we have Galvanic Iteration to copy something. We have Cutter for, aggressive beat sticks. We're not really playing the talent, though. We're playing at Proft, which is a pretty good card as well. We have Chandra's Defeat to hit red base planeswalkers and creatures. A null for artifact enchantment. Counter magic. We have fire magic for aggro. Graveyard hate. Mid-range hate. Mid-range bodies, I should say. Green and red hate. Fang hate, potentially. Volley is also pretty good against Fang. Artifact enchantment hate, plus also flyer hate. If Atroxid ever comes back. Gravedigger's Cage, good against Coco and Phoenix. And then we have some Reclamation. Interesting that this card does see quite a bit of play in Pioneer as well as Standard. I mean, because typically, a naturalized effect isn't really all that impressive, but the additional graveyard heat makes it a little bit better. Negate, pretty good against control, combo. Graveyard heat with Ashiok and Arlong for grinding matchups, I guess. It is, like I said, spicy that we're playing it instead of like a card like Row or something. So let me know in the comment section what matchup are you excited to face or to bring in the Arlong. Or maybe, honestly, it's just all of them because this Arlong is so based. Nobody expects to see it. So why not, right? We got one more deck to talk about, which is, I think, the spiciest one of all of them. So there is this deck that went 2 and 4. Not the best record, but it's based around treasures. We also have a couple copies of the Marinate Master, Mayhem Devils. We have Sticky Fingers, which is the aura. Then whenever it leaves, you get a treasure, or you get treasure by doing damage. I think something like that. We have a Dispute to sacrifice a treasure, draw 2, make a treasure. We have Fatal Push. Scoundrel gets his treasure. This is a treasure. We have Goldspan Dragon. Nice top in. We also have this random guy that allows you to have creatures with the haste attack. You create a tap treasure token. That's kind of spicy. We have Facebreaker, which you can sacrifice a treasure, exile top card. Basically, it's like a pseudo draw. Doesn't take any mana though. Collector's Vault, which you could loot and make a treasure. Torso Tower to sack your treasures. It is a little weird that they're playing Vraska's Contempt. I would thought there'd be a better 4-drop removal spell. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't think the life gain is really all that important. And I thought there was one that basically is 4 mana. You could exile something, and all of their copies in their deck are the same card. I think that's a slightly better upside than this one. We also play Reckless Fireweaver as a way to just deal a bunch of damage when your little treasures are made. Hand Hate. Weirdly enough, we're not playing Thoughtseize. So I would have thought Thoughtseize. There's one right here. But not really anything other than that. I would have thought Thoughtseize would take these slots, but okay. Claws for Graveyard Hate. Pithing Needle for Planeswalker Hate. Activated Ability Hate. Cage for Phoenix. Lantern also for Phoenix. Fry. hits planeswalkers like Teferi, which I guess is kind of relevant, over something like Bali, which only hits like Fang, but it also hits Fang as well. Karn for like late game types or grinding matchups. Make a bunch of construct tokens. Also could draw a little bit potentially. Ratchet Bomb for aggro, along with the Anger of the Gods. And Gear Hulk for a nice 6-drop that basically removes something, gain a bunch of life. So pretty good stuff there. This deck does seem like it's pretty spicy. I might want to try, like I said, on stream this week. Let me know in the comment section which one of these decks is your favorite. Like always, they're all in the description. And I'll talk to you guys next time.